New frequencies defined. Meredith, I feel more and more peace and heartfelt connection with you, with everything. I've been feeling profound ease and happiness lately, which I absolutely relish. Your message said you were meeting us in a different frequency, and I missed the significance somehow of this. Do tell. Archangel Michael, surprising, isn't it? Ah, woe is you. Haha. Such is the life of the telepathic translator. Sigh, haha. Okay, well, the thing is that yes, we are in a different frequency. The upgrade to the fourth dimension is complete within some of you. This is an amazing thing, as you are now looking and seeing repeatedly beyond polarity, seeing the unity of things. Now when I meet you, you are also awakening to love. You are also beginning to exist in sacred geometry, to feel the geometry within your field, which is a sixth dimensional orientation. It's not in your body, exactly, it's more like it's integrated with your body, as all of you is. Meredith, I feel something really big coming? Or emerging? What is up? Why am I suddenly so tired? Archangel Michael, the 2D portal which links you to the inner resources of the planet is being transformed. As part of this process, the inner workings of the planet are altering, and this is affecting your foundation on a physical basis. The Earth's magnetic field is mostly caused by electric currents in the liquid outer core. Magnetics are shifting in ways that are not understood or clearly visible to your scientists, and this has to do with gravity, and gravity in your life has to do with your density in the body, that which grounds you in the physical dimension. This comes from the core of the Earth. It flows through the second dimensional Earth, the mantle so to speak, and then emerges into your experience, and along with electricity combines to anchor your physical being in the plane. The gravitational forces of the Earth, which emanate from the first dimensional core, which is largely iron, are weakening, and when this happens it affects all the dimensions above the first dimension. As this happens, the more complex dimensionality becomes. As the Earth moves toward the fifth dimension, she is creating a unique version of the fifth dimension, specific to her process and the unique attributes of her ascending organism/collective, and this is increasing the complexity, expanding the universe. Meredith, what does this mean? Will we feel the effect of this for a while? Where is this headed? Archangel Michael, knowing what is happening in your planet is natural and part of living an integrated life with all that is in your experience. You may choose to know as much or as little of this as you find useful. You asked me what was happening, so I share. As the energy within the Earth's molten layer is freed up from gravity somewhat, there is more space in this layer, and the Earth is herself physically expanding. This may not be noticeable, but what you may indeed feel is that there is a sense of ease, a bit, especially in congested areas of the planet. There will be a bit more space in your experience as the dimensions of things in which you flow are expanding. You experience the planet in a collective energy field, led first and foremost by the energy of the Earth herself, who is vibrating higher and higher, and as such has enormous influence. This is why it is important to align with and allow the Earth to lead you in this process. As complexity enters your dimensionality, part of what will begin to occur is multiple dimensions, not just throughout the day as you flip back and forth between frequencies depending on your experience, but the ability for each being to choose their own frequency and have the space, so to speak, to maintain it will become more possible. It will ease the ability of you interacting with others of different frequency for the near terms, while these frequencies, which vary significantly, are still residing in the same general planetary space. Intention or focus becomes a locator for connecting frequency-wise in space/time within your experience. Grounding yourself during this time of shifting magnetics and gravity will mean being open to the full range of your feelings, being located correctly in your body by being in the present or the now. It is incorrect to say the fourth dimension is about unity consciousness. No, that is the aspiration for experiencing the fourth dimension on the path of ascension. I will explain more about dimensions. Skillful ways to orient and understand dimensions. It is increasingly challenging to remain disconnected from the larger themes which are sweeping the planet Earth. More and more, individual human beings who have had no interest in the past in the spiritual unfolding of an ascending planet are being forced to consider, what does this all mean? As they encounter a myriad of changes, on a scale seemingly beyond anything they experienced, and certainly beyond what their parents have experienced, the call to find answers is being sounded. Understanding the nature of the human dimension is something which is not really present in the minds of most beings on the planet. The concerns remain, largely, more confined to what feels personal, financial challenges with paying bills and such. Experiencing nothing as real and solid anymore, the feeling of instability grows. Deep within the heart of the planet is a knowing that this is all for the good of the entire organism. There is an innate trust by the planet in the whole process, and she leads her collective forward, relentlessly, with absolute certainty in the rightness of her plan and her choices as she encounters them. Her continual affirmation of the ultimate destination is without hesitation, without even the formation of words. It is simply unrestrainable and available entirely in her attitude, her viewpoint, her orientation, her identity as function. To support you in understanding what is transpiring, it is time for you to become more knowledgeable about the universe in which you live, for the space in which your planet, your home resides will change in the near future, and when it does, you will want to know already and be familiar in your own experience with the changing dimension you encounter. Form a theoretical and feeling framework within your vessel. In addition, it will significantly calm your mind to have a more concrete understanding of this experience as the next milestones unfold. For they will be unusual, to say the least. Smile. And there are no existing reference points in the history of the human family for these, although some of you have ascended individually before while in human form, and some of you have even been part of other planetary ascensions, for example on Mars, which completed a similar transit. So, let us begin to explain and bring into your conscious awareness, an understanding of dimensions and an expansion of my prior message on multidimensionality. Living in the earth plane as your collective energies do now, there is access always to all dimension. The availability of these dimensions does not depend on where you are, meaning the focal point of your physical vessel, which in the case of the focal point reading this message, more accurately receiving an energetic transmission which knows who, specifically, it is speaking to and transmits the necessary energetic upgrades upon connection, is located on the surface of the planet called by you as Earth. This surface form which provides you with a vessel in which to experience your Earth life is a result of the intersection of gravity, magnetic forces, and the third dimension. Gravity does not function without form, it comes into function as form arises, and you experience yourself, as a spiritual being having a physical vessel on the surface of the planet Earth, as a result of your choice to incarnate in this vessel and the structure inherent in the Earth plane as it is to provide you with form such as your body. As such, your form is a creation of and resides in the third dimension, which is again, supported by the first dimension of the Earth, which is the center of the planet, largely iron, and which has in part, a magnetic function, which participates in the creation of the gravity which endows your form with its ability on the Earth's surface. Understanding that all dimensional functions are available to you in form is not complicated to realize, it is simply the result of your innate nature, which is timeless and spaceless, which is source energy and without form in the zero dimension, and then in other dimensions is collective aspects of focus, which you often return to as a soul family, and in other dimensions is a physical focus, one of which might be the fifth dimensional experience of the emerging Earth. So you see, you have access to and exist in multiple dimensions, and within these dimensions, in multiple points of focus, depending on how you desire to experience and express yourself. And you always have access to all dimensions within the omniverse, for all dimensions are you. So, this being so, you might begin to wonder, why does it even matter that I ascend? Or you might go even deeper and say, why then, am I not accessing, or consciously accessing all of these dimensions? With this, you have come to the point where I wish to meet you, the point of wanting to know the very purpose of your unique focal point on the Earth plane, which is receiving this transmission, and the empowered knowing of one who gets it, able to lead, create, function with total confidence and enjoy and play in this amazing sandbox you have placed yourself within. Let us begin with knowing that all is well. This is more elemental in your experience than you realize. The knowing that all is transpiring perfectly and without fault is necessary for claiming your power. So first you must consider, do I truly feel safe? Do I know that I am incapable of being anything but fine, good, and endlessly present? This is your foundation. It is who you are. In order to begin understanding what is transpiring in your experience, you must understand what and who you are. Not conceptually, but experientially. Which can be evaluated, for example, by the sense within yourself of your own safety. Only by realizing that there is no possible way for this human experience to go badly have you begun to know the fourth dimension on a more permanent basis, in a way in which you may maintain your own individual function and focus, which is critical to your happiness. You have begun to know the fourth dimension as all moving in one dimension despite polarity. You have integrated and see beyond polarity. In order to maintain your own individual function and focus in the fourth dimension must not override your own perspective. You must realize that in the fourth dimension, all is one, although this can only be accomplished by balancing and integrating polarity. It is with this knowing that the fourth dimension can be used productively to analyze and gather information, to understand and create in response to the collective, yet from your unique perspective, fulfilling your function and with a desire to harmonize and benefit all. The fourth dimension is the dimension of collective understanding, collective beliefs. It embodies all of human history. It is what is referred to as the Akashic records, and if the third dimensional is physical, the fourth is feeling. Energy comes through the fourth dimension and is split into dark and light possibilities. We experience these in our feelings. The choice remains to realize that these are ways of exploring, splitting apart and understand possibilities. Light and dark aspects of possibilities bring depth perception and the possibility of analysis in parts of the whole, thereby deepening experience and understanding, knowing. So, at the fourth dimensional level you have access to depth perception. You have the ability here to take apart thought forms and structures, to consciously see them for what they are. You may find that if your emotional body is not strong and clear enough, is not in balance with your other energetic bodies, then the fourth dimension, especially the dark or fearful thought forms, may override your own perspective and connection to eternal knowingness. When this happens, unknowingly, typically, you have distorted your perspective and you may live in the fourth dimension, unconsciously ruled and influenced by polarized thought forms which you experience as difficult feelings/beliefs. You will then treat these thought forms as real, and as such, they override the moment-to-moment information of the now. You will be unable to accurately perceive. Being oriented to the collective field of thought forms, rather than using your vessel and your connection to all that is to know and be in the present, your ability to accurately and clearly know and perceive is impaired. Thus out of touch with the actual focal point of your vessel, thus disconnected, thus influenced by the collective, polarized, thought forms of the collective and unable to be present in your experience, you miss the love, joy, peace, creativity, and ultimate perfection of the every now moment. The ability to access dimensions other than the one you reside in is useful. It is not, however, intended as a continual uninterrupted point of orientation. This access is to be used with grace and with the intention to create an act in your current focal point with broader information, and to allow the inspiration from higher realms to come through and be a catalyst to creativity. If one is informed by the collective, polarized, duality present, fourth dimension without the peaceful perspective of knowing all is one, without the confident perspective of knowing your true nature and that all is well, and that each individual focal point is to be loved and trusted, knowing it is soul-oriented as well, then you risk losing your intended experience of being a spiritual being in a human vessel to create and express yourself, to explore your function in form and expand the universe in joy. Again, there is no fault of blame in this, for there are endless options for creativity and expression. It merely is. So, to the question of why you are here and in this particular now and how dimensions relate to this? Aha! Let the fun begin. Smile. The Earth's playground is being relocated to the fifth dimension. The intention is that there will be a fifth dimensional playground for form, inhabited by spiritual beings in an ascended human form, with increased capacity to know unity consciousness, thereby creating and accessing the fourth dimension as needed without challenge, that will live from the heart. Thereby a culture will emerge which is informed by the unique perspectives of each human who ascends while living still in form, remembering their history and interests, who retains this unique focal point in the fifth dimension. thereby creating in the universe a fifth-dimensional planet and culture, oriented and radiating love, yet with a retained sense of individual identity, such that the cultural explorations are structured around harmony and balance. A collective of light-filled, heart-led souls in human vessels, divine function/identa being expressed to create increasingly poetic and beautiful configurations of harmony and balance, as composed by unique and diverse aspects in collaboration. This is a new form structure for the universe, and as such, and as said frequently, has the rapt attention of all focal points who anticipate the immense creative opportunities that will be possible for all as a result of these pathways being paved and traversed by the Earth and all human forms which will accompany her. The fifth-dimensional Earth will be that new land dreamed of by artists and creators throughout time, fully resourced, unlimited in creativity, and yet with a drive toward harmony and balance, and grounded in collective allowing of love, collective felt understanding of unity, with a retained sense of individual focus and function. There will be countless first projects and adjustments to be made to bring the physical structures of the surface of the planet up to speed and the cultural process of the race up to speed with the new Terra Nova. But all who follow your progress are standing by, ready to share technologies, approaches, support, and energy/information to enable and ensure these new projects are completed and successful. We are all invested in this unfolding you are presently experiencing. We invite you to do the same. I am the Archangel Michael.